So hello everybody, this is Anvesh. So today I'm going to code a TypeScript project. So it will be a basic TypeScript animation or visualization, which I'm going to code from scratch, and it will be like a small page only, a small index.html page. So I can just show you like how the project structure is. Okay. So yeah. So I will be using Visual Studio. Okay, and this is the project structure. Like I have like branch, uh, sorry, the project name is branch tree ts. So I will upload this to GitHub. It has only three files, and the file will ignore in GitHub is this one, index.js. So main file will be index.ts, where we'll write the code in TypeScript, and we'll compile it with the command tsc index.ts. So txt is a command line tool provided by Node.js, provided an npm repository, with which we can convert any ts file to a js file, because browser generally understands JS file, not TS file. Like browser understands JavaScript, not TypeScript. So we have to compile TypeScript project into JavaScript. The command to do is tsc and the file name. If you want to convert a whole project, it will be tsc minus p dot, but that is not the scope of this today's video. So it's a simple command I'll use, tsc index.ts. So as you can see, index.ts file will be created here. So let's delete this file and create again. As you can see, a index.js file is created having color and back color. So this file is included here in the script tag in index.html, and after that we can access the color and back color which we have declared here, and we have just given some like some font size to the body and text element as center, and just put the small h1 tag. Okay, so as you can see, so this is the output. Okay, so just a small hi. Now let's come to the main coding part. Okay, let it be here. Yeah, we'll come to the main coding part. We'll code most of the code in index.ts. So for now, let's ignore the JS file. Okay, create another file get.getignore. Sorry, index.js, and we are ignoring the index.js file. So as you can see, we have two constants here. We'll add some more constants. Window.inner width. So we need window.inner. Like this is mostly some setup code. So I need height of the device also. It will be window.inner height, and I need to control the speed in which I will want to animate. It will be 0.01. Okay. Or now let's say 0.1 or say 0.5, and we'll draw some lines. So we'll have something called stroke factor, which will control the line width, the thickness of the line. That will have something called 90. So I will use set the thickness of line as minimum of w comma h by stroke factor. Okay, so that way we can control the thickness of our line. I will have something called, I don't think anything else I need, but yeah, I will have something called child size factor. So basically, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do in a couple of minutes. Just let's write the constants for now. I have something called labels, and I'll declare this as 3. Okay. So basically, I would be I will be mostly visualizing a binary tree, or not even a binary. Yeah, mostly it will have a lot of generate. I will like to visualize a tree data structure, and that tree will be a kind tree data structure. I will try to visualize as a real tree. Okay, so it will have all its branches and all. So if the tree will have its branches, the branches will have its own branches. So kind of like tree branches and sub branches. We'll try to visualize it all the thing, all the all the lines, all the branches, all the tree main, like the main stem. Then it will have some branches, and then the branches will have its own sub branches. So like that, I want to draw something. So it will basically, I will use HTML canvas, HTML canvas, and I will use a couple of animalic timer methods. Like I will use mostly set interval and HTML5 canvas, and types. I will try to code this in TypeScript. So these are the main tools, and this is the outline of the our project. So I think I have declared some constraints for now. I will declare one more constraint, like to say what will be the rotation. So I will make it as something called man.pivot2. Okay, so this rotation will be at the point of branches from the at the point of at the point of contact between branches and the main stem. So this is one. So we are done with the constants. Will any other constants we need, we can add it while coding. So basically, yeah. So just see how generally a tree is, tree sketch or something. Okay, I'm not going to draw this kind of tree. It will be a very basic tree, but it will kind of, it can represent like this somehow. Like I think, sorry. Okay, not like this. So mine will be only having a main stem. Okay, it won't have any leaves or something. Yeah, like this I will try to do something, but it will be all straight, like nothing. It will be have rotation for now. We'll try to add rotation post. I'm done a little bit of like post. I've done like the basic layout. Then I will try to have a little bit of rotation. So we'll see. And this will be very thin. It will won't be that thick. But mostly we're going to use tree data structure. So till now I think, okay. So till now I think this much only we have done. Okay, I'll put it aside here. Okay, yeah. So I put the browser aside, and I'll try to write in the Visual Studio. So let's start with the small thing. Like I will mostly use something called state for animation. Like state to control the interpolation. So interpolation is basically if you're animating something, so you are animating from one property to another property. So basically you will be animating from 0 to 1. Okay, so say you are animating an object which will move from the from some from coordinate 200 to 200 to coordinate 400 to 200. Okay, so the main, like you're translating that object in the x coordinate with at by 200 units. So you are like mostly at 0 it will be at 200, and at 1 it will be at 400. So that's the basic idea. So we'll be updating a value of of a certain property from 0 to 1, and that certain property will be the scale. So scale will be a member data of state class. Another thing we need here is previous scale. So I think for now let's start a constant on scale. So I'll update this thing and I'll take a callback. So this callback, after we are done updating from 0 to 1, we'll call this callback. So for now we'll just do sc plus sc gap, and I'll have something called direction, which will be 0 when we are not updating it and 1 when we are updating it. Okay, so I will do sc gap into dot direction. Now if this dot scale is greater than 1, then set scale equal to 1 and this dot there equal to 0, and call the callback because we will be calling this when we are stopping the animation. And another method it will have is called start updating. This will mostly set the 0 to 1, the direction from 0 to 1. So it is, if it is 0, then only we'll make set it as 1, and we'll also pass another callback like when we are just starting this. Let's call that callback. Okay, so this is a simple thing. So say you want to use the state thing, so let me just compile it. Okay, so I will explain like how this works. So we'll have, let me add it to it first. So if you check your index.js file, you will have this state thing. It will have the scale and direction and all the constants we declared. Okay, now if you go to HTML file, okay, so here, okay, so we have this font size. We'll update this property, okay, the font size. So how we'll update this? I'll create a new state because state will be available globally here. So I'll create a state because now in index.js the state will be available. I created a new state. Okay, I'm calling set interval, which I'll mostly use in our project. I'll give it some delay. Okay, I am not sure whether I'll give a delay constant here, but yeah, I'll give a delay here. Let it be 20. Okay, sorry. And let's compile the file because I added a new constant for delay. So this delay should be in milliseconds for set interval, and this callback which you are passing in as the first parameter will be the function which where we are going to update. Okay, so let it be 0 initially. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this document.copy font size. Let me type it so it will be easier. Okay, so I will just say 30. Okay, 30 into state.scale, and then I'll say, so this is string interpolation. So it is basically you can access any variable in a string. So I'll be changing my font size from 0 to 30. Okay, so let me check how it is working. Okay, so I have to first update it. Okay, so I have to also call start updating. Okay, so mostly what I'll do is I will say state dot start updating. There I'll pass this method. Okay, set interval. Okay, because I want to update my scale. So directly you cannot use state dot this thing scale, and I'll just do state dot update. And what I'll do is I'll give this one and ID. The set interval generally returns an interval ID object. Okay, so I'll give that ID to it. I will clear the interval. Okay, so when it is done, it will, when the state has completed from 0 to 1, we'll just clear the interval. Like we'll stop that timer. Okay, so basically set interval creates a timer which will run periodically for the delay, for the amount of after every specified millisecond, like after a certain period of time which you have mentioned in the second parameter. So in this case, delay which is equal to 20 milliseconds. After every 20 milliseconds, this function will run. Okay, and this I will do. I'm doing when like mostly is like when I'm starting to update. So when I'm starting to update the state. So this is the function instead of updating. That is why I was passing a callback instead of start updating. Anytime you want to update the state, you have to pass a callback. So while updating, while starting to update, what we are doing is we are creating a timer, and inside the timer we are updating the state continuously and the font size. So let's check how it is working. Okay, let me check if there is some error. Okay, so basically I think this is something called. So this is updating, but I guess I have to set this. Okay, or let me check the elements. Okay, okay, so this is the issue. I have not set as a style. Okay, I, so that is small issue. It is not into the project as well. Okay, so let me check this. Yeah, this is coming. So this is the animation that is going to happen. Now, if you want to change the speed of the way it is animating, you can change this one also. Like let me do it half 0.025. Then just compile this with tac index.ts, and okay, you may not be able to view this properly. Yeah, so that's the issue. This is how it is happening. This is how the animation is happening. So if I refresh this, okay, we can add certain other things as well. Like if we want to add something like so we can animate a lot of things. Let's see, not only this one. So I have something called here I've given a sorry, I have another block. Okay, I have a block. Okay, so now I can access the block with this const uh, block is equal to document dot get element by ID. Okay, okay. Yeah. So what I'm basically doing is what I'm basically doing is I'm creating a small block. Okay, I'm adding a small d by d equal to block thing. Okay, so this is what I'm adding, and I am just trying to access that block with document dot get element by id. And now what I'm going to do is I am giving it such one simple style like block dot style dot like background. It will be something called indigo, which is my favorite color, one of my favorite color. Okay, and here what I will do is I'll say block dot width, and yeah, also let me give it some height, 200 pixel. Okay, here I'm just updating the width. Okay, like I'll just do 200 into state dot scale. Okay, so let me just refresh it. Okay, one thing I'll just set font size here 20 pixel and let me not update this thing. Okay, let me put this after this thing because this will be better. Okay, like let's separate both the things. Okay, so let me show you what happened. Like I refresh the page, so I have created a block. It is getting animated. Okay, so this is how can you can just animate from 0 to 1. So this is a very basic method to animate certain things, certain property. So that's why I like to use the state class, because you can create and you can also create some other function like signify, like sign function or cos function to check the to manipulate the way it is moving. So say like one method what I generally like to use is, mm, I like to use sine method. Okay, or I'm using cos method here. Okay, so I'll just say math of pi by 2. So what will happen is initially it will be 0. Okay, the scale will be 0. So cos of 0 is 1, and when it reaches 1, math cos of math pi by 2 is 0. So it will be a reverse animation. So which I want to show it over here. Okay, so this is working. Let me show you again. Okay, so this is like it is going, it has 200 pixel width, it is going to 0 pixel width. So this is how you can use state class. So let me just add whatever changes I've done. Now so this set interval I just don't like to call this like in this fashion. I want to also put another class so that I can have more control over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create something called class animator. Okay, it will have two properties. One is animated to check whether the animation has started or not. Another is interval. So it will give me the interval number. Okay, interval ID which set interval generally returns. So if animated is false, then only we are going to start the animation by setting this dot animated equal to true, and this dot interval will be set interval, like whatever set interval returns will store it in interval. It will take a callback. So generally I have the callback. So let's not worry about this here. Okay, and this let us add delay here, and here we'll stop it when animated is true. So if this dot animated, then set animated as false. And the most important thing is you have to clear the interval. Okay, like this. Yeah, sorry. It will be this dot interval. Now we compile this, okay, and we'll add it to Git. Okay, so we added it to Git and compile this. So now I'll try to use it in index.html. Like whatever I used, this code, I'll remove this code. Okay, I'll just copy this code over and I'll remove this code completely. Okay, I'll create something called animator, new animator. Okay, and here I will just say animator.start, and here I will say animator state.update, and we have to on completion of the updation of the scale from 0 to 1, I have to stop the animator. Here I will give this to value, or what I can do better is I can have something called render. Okay, and I can just pass state.scale here. So scale I'll pass it over here, and I will pass these two things over here. Okay, so previously we were updating width, so now we'll update the height of the block. Okay? So let's see how height behaves, and we'll use sine. So I will also can cover like how sine behaves with state.scale. Okay, so state.update, and here I will do render state.scale. So be careful not to pass this render state of scale inside this one, because the update callback is generally is the callback which we call not during updating but after update, after we are done with updating the values. So it will be outside. Okay, we are calling this outside. And this one also, what I can do is I can have something called linear thing. Okay, so let's see how it behaves. Yeah, this is how it generally behaves. Okay, so instead of math.py, I'll just add math.py. So this will be another good way to begin. It will behave. Okay, so this is how it is behaving. Okay, let me show you. Let me just refresh this, because yeah. So our animator is working. So I have what I'm doing is this, when I add this sign and passing math.py. So for at 0 this value will be 0. At math.py by 2 it will like when it is when the sign of 90 degrees is 1, but the sign of math.py, which is sign of 180 degrees, it is minus, it is like 0. So it will go from 0 to 1, then 1 to 0. So that's why it is like you're getting a bouncy, like a what I can say, you're mostly getting a bouncy effect, or like I don't have the proper term for it, but it is like a I'm not sure whether it was like you boomerang. You are getting a boomerang like effect, yeah. So spring or boomerang like effect you are getting over here. Yeah, so that is how you can manipulate the scale values, and that is how you can use the animator. So this is like this whole thing I'll put in the code, and I'll show you how this all these things work. So we are only just on the start phase, and we only created two methods, but we'll create some more. We have only created two classes to be honest, and we'll create some three more classes. One another class which we'll create is renderer. So renderer will be the main class. Another class will create a stage. So stage will call renderer. The renderer will call our data structure, and the data structure will call a node. Okay, So that is how I have planned to do. But I was just showing you the demo of animator and stage. Now let me create the stage. Like let us be done with the initial code, which is easy. So this will be so the stage will have the canvas object. Since we are creating a canvas object, so we'll create a canvas here, and canvas generally has a context. Okay, so we can context rendering, canvas context rendering, text 2D. So okay. So we'll have some methods. First one is image canvas, second one is render, third one is handle tab, the fourth one is static image. So this will be a static thing from which we'll create an object of stage. Okay. So first in image canvas, we'll set the width and height of the canvas, and we'll add the canvas to the body. And we'll also get the context object from canvas. Get context. 2D will be inside this. And the render will just draw a background. Okay. So how we'll draw a background? We'll just set a fill style and pass the back color. Back color will be having our background, and we'll fill a rect, like we'll draw a filled rect which has uh, the back color is it is filled with the back color. So complete rect whose color will be having the background color. So fill rect is the function to draw a rect. Okay. So there is another method called stroke rect. So that will create a rect, but it won't have any color inside it. It will have only outlines. And here handle tab will just handle the tab. So we'll do on mouse down. Okay. So in static init, we'll call all these three functions which are declared here. So first is we'll create a stage object. Then we'll call the render method. Then we'll call the handle tab. Okay. So in index.html, what I'll do is I will comment out all the code. Okay. So if you refresh here, if I refresh over here, everything is empty. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll compile the file. I'll compile the TypeScript file to JavaScript file, and I'll add it to Git. Here I will call stage.init. Okay. So what will happen is, so now it will draw a back. It will just draw a rect having that back color. So it will give us a gray background. So that initially for the body we had, now we are doing through our stage class. So these are the initial things which I want to get it done. So we are mostly done with the SQL file. We don't need anything else. Now more code we have to write over here. So this renderer will draw all our objects. Okay. So first thing what it needs is animator to animate the body. Okay, and it will have two methods, render, and it will take a context object and once it will convert 2D, and it will have the handle tab method. And it will take a callback method. So we'll visit the render later when we have created all our objects, because here we'll draw the main object, so something called DS. So we'll visit that is not later, but just I want to create the basic outline. Okay. So okay. Hmm. Mm, mm. So this is the like the basic function for us. Now, okay. So now what we are going to do mostly is, so what we are going to do mostly is we are going to define a node. Okay. I will just call it a tree node. Okay, that will be better. This whole thing will be a little bit complicated, so I have to figure this out. So this tree node will have a access to state, okay, because we will be updating a particular thing over here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to give it a and a size. So we are going to define three properties. Okay, so if you give it private, better you give it public. Okay, so tree node will have three properties. One is private, public, and here also we will have public. Now, what we are going to do is, so we are going to every parent will have some 10 children. So I will say every parent has some 10 children. So I'll have for every tree node I'll have some children. Okay. So I'm going to populate this later. So the how we are going to populate also depends upon another variable called label. Okay, it will be like the tree has say four labels. The first one will be zero, the second one will be one, the third one will be two, fourth one will be three. Okay, so I'm going to populate the children over in this method. So in the constructor, I'm just going to call this method add children. Now, if this dot label is less than labels, I think I splashed coffee in my shirt. Okay, no worries. So then we are going to create some children, and label is it should be less than minus one. Plus minus one. Okay. Now how we're going to do is for var let we have declared it in a for loop. So we'll create it in a for loop I less than children I plus plus. Okay. Now I'll just push a new tree node object over here. So this will what it will have is so it will have the same x, okay, and same y for now. Size, but size will be something like child size vector. Okay, label will be label plus one. Now here we'll write the main code. And this y will be also be like kind of like we have to have a logic for it. So say the size will divide the size by 5. Okay. We will have something called gap and we'll divide the size by the size also like we'll take it something called 0.8. Okay, we'll take the 0.8 of the size. We can also declare the 0.8 in constant. So like it will have initially some offset. Okay, and I will divide by children, and this will be like 0.1 for size. This for size plus gap. Into I. Okay, okay, okay. Now I'll just this x will be most of the time it will be zero. Like I think it's better to give it zero. Okay, for first level it will have some x, others it won't have. And we'll just say context dot translate this dot x, okay, and this dot y, and we'll just draw a straight line. Okay, so for that the straight line also we can declare as a util function. So whatever we are going to do, we'll have it over here. Let's draw a line. So this draw util will have all the utility methods to draw certain objects. So it will take a context object. It will take a x coordinate. Okay. It will take a y coordinate. Sorry. It will take another x2 and y2 coordinate. So we'll draw a line from x1 y1 to x2 y2. And for that we have a method. We have don't have uh, any method and context. So what we do is generally we begin a path, we define a path, and we move to x1 y1, and then we draw a line from x1 y1 to x2 y2 using context dot line 2. The first one will be context.move to. It will go to x1 and y1. Then context.line to. Then x2.y2. Another thing is if you want to modify the canvas in certain bit, like you want to modify this context by doing some translation or rotation. So first what you have to do is you have to define, you have to save the state till this position, okay? And then what you have to do is you have to restore that to that particular state. So say at this point the state is state 1, okay? And we do some translate, it will become state 2, okay? We do some rotation, it will become from state 3. But if you in this context or restore, if you call this method, then again it will become the context will have state 1. So this is a certain logic which you can go to the HTML5 Canvas API. So now what we are going to do is we are going to just draw a line. Text. So it will be 0, 0 to say 0, this dot size. Now here comes the like how we are going to draw branches. So we are going to like rotate every branch at the point of that x and y. Okay. So I think it will be better if we call this 0 as well for initial. Only for the first time it will have some this dot 0 and let it this dot 0 initially, okay, because it will create some confusion for us. What we are going to do is we are going to look over the children. Okay. So say children for each, or like let's have an for the two for let j equal to 0, j less than children, j plus plus. Now children j, okay, we are going to again rotate this at this point, context of these two, and we are going to get the x and y coordinates of this place, of that particular place. X and y coordinates of this of children I. Okay. Children j, we got get the x and y coordinate, and we'll just translate to the x and y and rotate it over there. So this also we can do in a better way with say percentile 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is every alternate parts it will have degrees like rotation of 90 degrees, and then I'll have minus 90. So at even places I want 90 degrees, at odd places I want minus 90, or odd places I want 90, and even places I want 90 minus 90. So to do that, I'm going to have a logic here. It was j percentile 2. So if j percentile 2 is equal to 0, so it will be 1 minus 2 into 0, which will be 1. And if j equal to 1, then it will be 1 minus 2 into 1, which will be 1 minus 2 minus 1. So that particular thing I will have over here. And another thing is I will have this dot state dot state. And here I will just draw the children. Okay. Context. That's it. I will have two more methods, and it will just update the state. So I'll have update method and start updating method like for the node. here what I will do is I will consume, okay, I will consume the children's, okay, consume children. This is a method where we'll be adding the children to a particular queue or stack based on our logic in the main data structure. So just do children dot for each, just pass the callback. Sorry. Okay, okay. I think I have just messed up something there. So this will be this dot children. Okay. This also will be this dot children. This dot children j, and it will be also this dot children for cb. Okay, so you can call over here. I think for each takes a particular way. Yeah, callback function value. Okay. So yeah, this is what generally for each takes. We can call it like this way. I'll just compile this and I'll add it over here. Just a minute. So just a minute. I'll just cross check the function. So we created a tree node class which will be like will draw the current node and draw the rest of the nodes. So this is what we're currently doing. So okay, so we have created a tree node, and in the tree node we are drawing the current node and the rest of the nodes. So I'll just add a escape here. Okay. Now I'll create the main data structure. Okay. So main is tree ds. So I'll call it a tree ds. It has tree ds. It will have a current node or the root node. So it will have the root node as tree node, which is tree node 0. Okay. So we have to give it all values. Like the x1 will be for now w by 2. So that this dot x will be w by 2. In fact, we didn't need w by 2 over there as well. Yeah. So the x1 will be w by 2 and this y will be 0. Size will be I think we'll take the whole of h and label will be 0. Okay. Now we'll have a certain thing called Q. Okay. So it was for like we have to do a BFS traversal. So that's why we are using Q. Okay. Array of will just push the current values. So it will be empty initially, or we can just pass root this to root, and we are going to draw the root only from now. For updating the logic, we are going to use for updating the tree, we are going to use the queue. So for drawing, we'll use the root method, and the update will take a callback. We'll also remove the queue. So let for updating, the logic is pretty straightforward, but there is only one change. Like what we'll do is current of, so we'll use for each method, and so this for each method will have two things. One is the current node, which we are which you have got while traversing, and the index of the current node. And we'll just call node or start updating inside the callback, and I'll pass just one method. If I equal to 0, then call the callback, because I think mostly we'll be animating the uh, I think some issues over there. Mostly we'll be animating, like mostly we'll be starting the animator over here. So that's why we'll start the animator once, and that will be when I equal to 0. And in this part, it is little bit tricky. So what we are going to do is we are going to store the number of children in the queue first. Like what are the contents of the queue? We'll store it in in a variable called n. Then we are going to use a for loop I less than I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Then we are going to use this dot q I dot update. Okay. Another variable will do. This is like when it has when it is like to track the number of items in queue which is completed to update. Like their values have been updated from 0 to 1. So this will track this. We'll call it. We'll just increment k plus plus. Now if k equal to n, okay, then we'll do something. What we'll do is we'll remove the items in queue, and we'll add the items, new items to queue. So generally the new items will be the previous items children. So whatever the previous items children were there, that will be added in the queue, and we'll remove those children's parent from the queue. So remove and populate queue will get a function. It will take a callback. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to do something like this. Say we are saying this as parents, and we say q this dot q the splice 0 comma, so this q dot length, sorry, so we'll pass the number n as well here. N was which was declared over here, we pass it over here. Okay. 0 to n. Now parents for each, so we'll use the for each method. So here we'll call the callback. Okay, so it will stop animating. Now we have to again write the logic to populate. So parents for each, we'll use for each in the parents, and it will have the tree node. So we'll add the each of the children in parents, like each of the nodes children to queue. Okay, and for that also we have a logic. So we'll say as children. Okay, we'll define a as children. So this dot queue dot length greater than equal to 0. So if so for each node, if the children is greater, the length is greater than 0, then it has children. So only if the node has children, okay. So sorry, only here if the node has children, we are returning a boolean over here. Sorry, boolean over here. only if the children has length equal to greater than 0, then only we are adding it to Q. So this also how we are going to do it. We are going to use the destructor object, and we are going to do something like this. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is better. Move the children. Yeah. So we are going to use the destructor object so that every child of node will be added as a single element in Q. Okay. So say your Q has something called 1, 2, 3, 4, and your node has this as the children, and Q has an empty array. And when you are doing this particular function, this dot Q dot push and triple dot node dot children, will have something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, if you want to, your node has something called 2, 6, and 7, and you are going to do this particular operation, this dot Q dot push on node dot children, then it, the queue will have something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay. So this is the logic. So callback, I've added parents of this one I've added. So I think we are mostly done with the main data structure. Let's compile it. Okay, I'm adding to get, adding 3ds class. Only thing now left is we are going to use this 3ds and renderer, and also we have to use renderer in the stage. So in render method, we are only going to draw the draw the 3ds. In handle tab, we are going to start updating. We're going to call the start updating of 3ds, because 3ds again will call the current nodes like start updating method, which will call state start updating method. As we saw, after start updating, we have to start the animator. Here we'll call the callback which are passed here, because it will be to mostly render the main stage render method. Okay, we call the main stage render method so that we can have the drawing effect regularly. Now we'll call 3ds update, and here we'll call animator.stop, and again we'll call this callback so that whatever we have drawn, we are going to draw it again when the animation stops. So I'll add it. So I'll add it to get now. I think there will be some issues. Okay, now I'll add this to the renderer to the stage class. I'll create a new renderer object, and here in render I will add this renderer, this dot renderer dot render, and I'll pass this dot context, and over here I'll be handling tab for renderer, this dot renderer dot handle tab, and I'll pass this dot render over here because I want to have a drawing effect regularly. So I will compile this and we'll see our demo like how it is working. So I already have the stage.init method. I'll just refresh the page and you see nothing is working. Okay, so there I have a little bit of errors. Okay, so the main issue is with the tree nodes, this children method. Okay, so it is better to use this dot children dot length while animating. So here also I have to use certain more things, like I have to specify the color, stroke style as color, context dot stroke width or line width as minimum w comma h and height spread stroke factor, and this dot context dot line here as round. So this is like if your line, if at the end you want a round cap, round structure or some other kind of structure, you can define it over here. So see, okay, so this is coming in certain way, but I am not very happy with the way it is coming. I'll show you a moment. So one thing is we'll have some dots when you're trying to draw this. So what I'm going to do is this dot scale, okay, is equal to 0, then return. Okay, so I'll show you how it is working, but currently I'm just able to draw the main line. So let me just, yeah, refresh this. Yeah, only you'll be able to see the main line. Okay, but I think there's some issue with the code. I'll just see like what is present in the list.q after removing. Okay, okay. Maybe I'm not following the list.remove. Okay, at the end. At the end, I may not be calling the list.remove. So I have to check this. Yeah. So okay, I got the issue. What is happening? So the basic issue was I was not calling the method with the most crucial method. So I have to call when k equal to n as this dot remove and populate q. So I have to pass callback and I have to pass n. So let's see. Okay, somewhat okay, but I'm not very like very satisfied with the result. So let's see what I can do better. I may have uh, okay, let me share the screen like this way. I know exactly what issue mistake I've done. I don't need this J percentile equal to 2. So this will the better code. Like I think this will start working up with this. Uh, and I'll do this as full screen because I have confidence it will work properly here. I'll just refresh this. The main line has come, the branches have come, and its branches have also come. So this is the way I wanted to do. But maybe I can have a little bit. I can make the size thing. I can try to do in a much better way. See, okay, so let me just decrease the size factor and check. This is okay, but what I want to have is I want to do more research on this. Okay, I will change the rotation angle. Okay, okay. I'll just change children from 20 to 5. Yes. So these are the manipulations I have done. So I have changed the like the children from 20 to 6 and the degree from math like 90 degrees to minus 135 degree. So let's see. Uh, okay. Hmm. It's okay, but you check math or my 4 or something will be better. So this way it is okay, but maybe I could try to change the children from more like the children value to more. Let's say three. Let's have three children. But let's have more levels like six. Yeah. So this is the what exact effect I wanted. So this looks much better. Like it's like a tree, then a tree, then yeah. So it has branches. So this looks like much better. So it looks like an exact tree. So with this particular, like at the end, I did certain other value manipulation. So this is what manipulations I've done. I have decreased the children to three. Okay, and I have added say I have the labels have increased to six. We can do more than these things also. Like we can decrease the children to two also and try evaluating. Uh, this looks neater, but if you have more children, you can do much. So just say we are having now like levels as six, and we can go with six children. That will be better, not an issue. It looks like more like a tree. Okay, so yeah, we can do a lot of manipulations with this. This was like one of the manipulation. So it was just a visualization of a real tree. So we can like play around with this constant and see how it behaves according to which value. Like you can just increase it to 4.9 again. So this is the better way, like neater way to do. So this is like I've just increased the size. So let me little bit consider, and this is 3.9. Okay. So this is like a better way. Like we are having, like here I think I am having around six levels. We have gone till three level by three. It's like kind of acting like an actual tree also. So yeah, so this is how you can play around with the constants and change each and every value according to your need. So I guess with so I will mostly upload the code to GitHub, and we'll see how. And you can like whoever is watching this, they can download the code base and see how each value how you can play along with the values and see how it behaves. How if you can create a beautiful tree, you can comment in the section. You can comment in the comment section and try to if possible just tag me in the Twitter and say you have drawn a beautiful tree. So this is like basics. So I think we have covered BFS, tree data structure, and HTML canvas element and TypeScript. So generally, when you are working with data structure, you generally work with Java or C, and you don't have the way you can visualize. Like you cannot you can just prepare the data structure questions, pre-questions for interviews, but how you're going to use in the real world, you won't. So generally, sometimes people lack the idea. So with this thing, you can get an idea like how we can use a data structure in a real world and how we can use BFS. So and you will have a complete idea when you are working with this data structure and how powerful this data structure can be. So with this, keeping this in mind, I have created this video. So do let me know how you found this video and do give your honest feedback about this video. And with that, I'm going to stop the video at this moment, and thank you all. whoever watched this, and I hope you learned some important some concepts through this video. So thanks.